Hi, I'm Dr. Nathan Considine from LSM Chiropractic. Today we're going to be talking a little bit about hypermobility. So hypermobility, generalized hypermobility, happens in about 20% of the population, which means they're just a little bit more flexible. And how we alter that to chiropractic care we'll talk about in a little minute. But first of all, I have someone here that has some hypermobility that we're going to be talking about in generally what that is. So there's something called a Beighton score. A Beighton score is the generalized accepted way to test how hypermobile you are or loose jointed. So you get a point for each elbow you can bring past straight. You get a point for each pinky that you can bring to or past 90 degrees. You get a point for each thumb that you can touch to your forearms. And then we won't do that here, but you also get a point if you can bend over and touch your palms to the floor. And she also can, she'll be high on the Beighton score. She's going to be probably a 9 out of 9. There's only about 7% of the population that can do all these things. And so how we would alter the treatment on someone that has hypermobility is we kind of reduce treatment frequency. We're much more careful about our adjustments. We talk about differences with stretching. The biggest thing that people will feel with hypermobility is that they feel tight all the time because their ligaments are loose. So that makes your muscles think that they need to fire to contract to hold you together. So a person will feel tight, and so they feel like they need to stretch. In all honesty, stretching is bad for them because if you have loose muscles and loose ligaments, we have a super unstable situation. So we talk to the patient about why we shouldn't stretch, why you feel a need to stretch, and try to get them towards strengthening and a little bit away from stretching. And you may be thinking, with hypermobility, is that even a good idea to be adjusted? And we do have to alter the treatment because you want to treat that person should still find relief with being in a better position, even if they don't stay as long. It's still important to show them that right position once in a while. You just don't treat them as frequently. So we don't encourage any hypermobility. We're just just kind of trying to stay with a better position. So strengthening is important. So I emphasize kind of Pilates over yoga, those kind of things. And then a physical therapist who maybe is also well versed in how to deal with hypermobility. But everything is affected because they usually will have a flexible foot. And so what happens is that the person has a normal arch, like this patient does. But when they stand, their foot is so flexible that it can flatten out. And so they think they have a flat foot. They really don't have a flat foot. They have a flexible foot. And so arch supports are a good idea to help hold the arch up. You can't do strengthening really much for the arch, so that just has to be supported. Sometimes people feel like they want to wear braces, or I get a question a lot about kind of the figure 8 straps that kind of hold your shoulders back because they don't have postural strength to hold themselves all day. But those are typically a bad idea. Research shows that even though it holds you in a better position, when you take them off, you're actually further forward than when you started because the muscles that are meant to hold you back completely take a break and they start to atrophy and lose blood supply relatively quickly. So we're kind of trying not to brace people even with hypermobility unless they have extreme examples about knees or things like that. So that's how chiropractic typically deals with hypermobility. Is we're very careful with postures of ergonomics, sleep postures, strengthening, overstretching, and then very specific about how we adjust somebody. Hope that helps.